Good evening. My name is Bill Dean. I'm the Executive Vice President of the Texas Tech Alumni Association. And on behalf of the Alumni Association and Texas Tech University, we want to welcome all of you to our ring ceremony. I'll wait for you. This ceremony has become a major tradition here, and we hope it's one that you will long remember, because we are celebrating your academic achievement at Texas Tech, essentially. When you put on the ring tonight, we hope it will bring back, as you go through the years and look at that ring, we hope it will bring back many fond memories. Now, I know very well that every memory that you're going to have of Texas Tech is not exactly fond, okay? There are ups and downs. That's just part of it. You know, there are highs and there are lows. I want to share this with you, speaking of highs and lows, and with apologies to students that in the College of Media and Communications that I may have had and that have heard this. This is a letter that a Texas Tech co-ed wrote to her parents after she had been on campus for a month or so. And she says, "Since I left for college, I've been remiss in writing, and I'm sorry for my thoughtlessness and not having written before. I want to bring you up to date on my progress. I'm getting along pretty well. The skull fracture and the concussion I got when I jumped out the window of my residence hall when it caught on fire shortly after my arrival is pretty well healed. I only spent 2 weeks in the hospital, and I can almost see normally, and I only get sick headaches once a day. Fortunately, the fire in the residence hall and my jump was witnessed by an attendant at the local gas station near the residence hall, and he's the one who called the fire department and the ambulance. And he also visited me in the hospital. And since I had nowhere to live because of the burnt out residence hall, he was kind enough to invite me to share his apartment. It's really a basement room, but it's kind of cute. He is a very fine boy, and we've fallen deeply in love, and we're planning to get married. We haven't set the date yet, but it will be before my pregnancy begins to show." Yes, Mother and Dad, I'm pregnant. And I know how much you're looking forward to being grandparents, and I know you'll welcome the baby and give it the same love and devotion and tender care that you gave me when I was a child. The reason for the delay in our marriage is that my boyfriend has a minor infection, which prevents us from passing our premarital blood test, and I've carelessly caught it from him. I know you'll welcome him into the family with open arms. He's kind and not well educated, but very ambitious. Now that I brought you up to date, let me tell you, there was no fire. I did not have a concussion or a skull fracture. I was not in the hospital. I'm not pregnant. I'm not engaged. I'm not infected. There is no boyfriend. However, I'm going to make a D in history and an F in chemistry. It's all relative, isn't it? Well, again, when you look at that ring in the future, we hope it will bring back some really special memories. Maybe of a professor who challenged you and maybe caused you to stretch just a little bit further than you thought you could. Maybe it's been some of the events that you've attended or been part of, like Arbor Day last week, your first football game at Texas Tech, the Carol of Lights, Fridays on weekends when we played home football games and you'd come on campus and see Will Rogers draped in red. In 1998, the Student Alumni Board, which basically are the young men and women who greeted you tonight and ushered you in, and they're the sponsors of this event, they did a market study to try to determine if Texas Tech students would embrace a single ring tradition. And the results were positive, so they sat down with representatives from the Student Government Association and designed the ring that you will wear tonight, and that ring will be described to you in detail. You have to have had 75 hours to earn wearing this ring. When you put it on tonight, we encourage you to put the double T facing inward. On graduation day, Interim President Opperman will invite you to take the ring off and turn it around where the double T faces outward, symbolic of the fact that you are a graduate of Texas Tech University. When you registered for the ring and you came in tonight, the Alumni Association is giving you a free membership for a year. The President's Office is extending that to 2 years. So you'll have a 2-year membership in the Alumni Association when you graduate. We want you to stay in touch with us. We want you to support Texas Tech, and there's so many ways that you can do that other than monetarily, although we won't discourage monetary. But just, when you relocate, see if you can hook up with the Texas Tech group in your area, get involved, go to academic recruiting sessions, encourage high school seniors to look at Texas Tech. Just, say a good word for our university and take part in our Alumni Association. We hope after those 2 years are over, you'll want to remain a member of the association, and certainly you want to stay involved with the college from which you graduated. That's part of the experience of being a Texas Tech alumnus, and we encourage you to do that. Let me introduce the participants in the program tonight. We're very pleased to have Texas Tech's interim president, Dr. John Opperman, who will present you with your ring as you come across the stage, and a photograph will be made of that. I've been told to ask you to please bring your name tags up when you come up so they can quickly identify you and find your ring. We want you to hold the ring until everyone has received one. Chris Sneed is here. Chris is an Associate Vice President of the Alumni Association. He will read your name as you come across the stage. Dr. Todd Chambers, who is a professor and Associate Dean in the College of Media and Communications. Once everyone has received a ring, he will then go kind of on a tour of the ring and point out the characteristics and the features of the ring that otherwise you might not be aware of. The Texas Tech Federal Credit Union is the official sponsor of this event, and Taylor Gilroy, who is a member of the Student Alumni Board, will present you with a replica class ring paperweight, courtesy of the Federal Credit Union as you leave the stage. You'll also, as you leave, be asked to sign a roll book, which every student that's ever received a ring at this ceremony has signed. Also on stage is Jay Crane. Jay is the president of the Saddle Tramps. His role will be explained by Dr. Chambers. Let me introduce the marketing staff that's responsible basically for this. Mandy Wiley, our Director of Affinity Merchandise. Brent Ross, our Associate Vice President for Marketing and Communications. Laura Bixler, Director of Membership. Christina Butler, Director of Multimedia and Communications. Brent Weingarner, Coordinator of Marketing, Public Relations, and Membership. Madison Perkins, Assistant Director of Membership. Thad Brock, who's the President of the Student Alumni Board. And at the back of the room, if you two guys will hold up your hand, Kurt Langford and Nathan Levinka. Now, Kurt is a graduate of Texas Tech. Nathan's from Virginia Tech. But the important thing is they are representatives of the Balfour Company that manufactured your ring. And so when you have received the ring and the ceremony is over tonight, if you have any concern or any question about the ring, they will be right up here and they'll be glad to address those concerns, because we want you to be 100% satisfied and happy with the ring that you receive. Okay? All right, let me introduce to you now the interim president, Dr. John Opperman. He is no stranger to Texas Tech, obviously having received a degree here, but working in our system for a number of years. He served as Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs for the Texas Tech University system since June. Prior to that, he was Vice Chancellor for Policy and Programming since 2002. From 1996 to 1999, he was Vice Chancellor of Administration and Finance and Chief Financial Officer for the Texas Tech system. In these roles, he served under 4 chancellors: John Monfort, Dr. David Smith, Kent Hance, and the current Chancellor, Robert Duncan. He served as Director of Budget, Policy, and Planning for Governor Rick Perry. and was a special advisor to the Lieutenant Governor on public and higher education policy and the state budget. John and the current Chancellor, Robert Duncan, by the way, once worked together as aides in the legislature to then Senator John Monfort, who became our first Chancellor. He received his bachelor's degree from Texas Tech and his master's degree and PhD from the University of Texas in Austin. John?
Thank you, Bill, and good evening. It's a pleasure to be here for the annual ring ceremony sponsored by the Alumni Association. For all of you receiving rings tonight, I want to congratulate you. You're one step closer to that ultimate goal of graduation, which I assume is what your goal is. And for the rest of you that are here, that are paying for the rings, I want to thank you for being here as well. You're probably wondering what happened to the young woman that Dr. Dean's letter, he read the letter from. And I guess most people assume that at that point, if your first semester goes that poorly, you probably have to transfer to Texas A&M. But in fact, we have very good retention programs here. We have good advising, and she followed good advice, and she changed her major to creative writing, graduated, and she now writes scripts for the Simpsons TV show. So she did all right. There is one logistical thing I want to mention. Dr. Dean mentioned there will be pictures taken when you come up here. A number of students come up here and they act like they must be on the 10 most wanted list or something because they don't seem to want the picture taken. This is for the Alumni Association as much as anything else. So if you don't mind at least pausing for a moment, the photographer would appreciate that so he can get a quick picture. It's really very not harmful at all. The ring you're receiving tonight symbolizes many things, and Dr. Chambers, in a few minutes after you receive your ring, will walk you through that. There is one part of it that I'd like to focus on. It's the inscription in the ring, which is "Strive for Honor," which all of you know comes from the Matador song. It's an interesting phrase, using "strive for honor," because if you read that part of the song, it might very easily have been "fight for honor," because there's a reference to fearless champions and standing on victory and so forth. But "strive for honor" really is quite appropriate, and it's something I think appropriate to be carrying around with you with that ring, because honor is not something that comes easily. It is something you have to work for. It's something you have to strive for. At Texas Tech, we strive to prepare you for the decisions in life that you have ahead of you. And some of them will be difficult decisions, and honor will be at stake many times. It is our hope that when you leave here tonight, that you will strive for honor in when you do make those decisions. And sometimes you will fall short, excuse me, but in doing so, you can make the world a better place, and that is all that we can hope for. So congratulations on your accomplishments for tonight and the ring ceremony. Wear your ring proudly, and remember to strive for honor evermore. Thank you.
All right, students, are you ready? Parents, are you ready? Is anyone ready? Mr. President, are you ready? Mandy, are you ready? I'm ready. All right, let's begin. Austin Aldama, Corsicana. Ivy Alvila, Seminole. Jaron Bershears, Abernathy. Travis Bardsley, Angels Camp, California. Prater Benson, Prosper. Casey Blakely, Mineral Wells. Austin Board, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Jeffrey Boone, Winsboro. Hannah Browning, Bremond. Benjamin Bryce, San Antonio. Nicholas Casillas, El Paso. Hayden Kavanaugh, Plano. Perla Cervantes, Lubbock. David Chambliss, Austin. Alyssa Crissup, Klein. John Clark, Hartley. David Cook, Midland. Dalton Cooper, Conroe. Derek Correa, Lyford. Carly Cuevas, Magnolia. William Curry, Big Spring. Taylor Davis, Flower Mound. David DeLuna, Rio Grande City. Patricio de Santiago, Plainview. Darian Deanda, Lubbock. Matthew Diom, Katy. Daniel Dunning, Los Alamos, New Mexico. Almacia Dunson, DeSoto. Catherine Durkin, Cyprus. Devin Espinosa, Katy. Thomas Falden, Houston. Alyssa Fono, Katy. Daniel Frazier, Allen. William Frazier, Austin. Tyler Gardner, Chico. Miles Garza, Houston. Haley Jim Fertone, Cedar Park. Laura Gonzalez, Amarillo. Aaron Gordon, Grand Junction, Colorado. Grant Gowdy, Early. Abby Grand Leonard, Rockwall. Mark Grano, Hobbs, New Mexico. James Greenhaw, McKinney. Jeffrey Gronwald, Santa Fe, New Mexico. Richard Hancock, Austin. Austin Harlan, San Antonio. Keenan Harmon, Plainview. Barbara Hatchell, Amarillo. Lance Henderson, Cyprus. Alejandro Herrera, Plano. Chris Hill, Lubbock. Mary Holm, Southlake. We like her too. John Hurriega, Bernie. Joshua Hutchinson, Stafford. Courtney Jasic, Mertzen. Dylan Jensen, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Haley Jones, Claude. Joshua Jordan, Rockwall. Rafael Gerardo, Dumas. Caitlin Keach, George West. Carson Keller, San Antonio. Zovan Khan Mohammed, Haltom City. Nathaniel Klepper, Coppell. Casey Kluffenstein, Sugarland. Matthew Kowalski, Keller. Nicholas Shavinsky, Wichita Falls. Victoria Landers, Allen. Leslie Lopez, Houston. James Lewis, Plainsboro, New Jersey. Blake Lucas, Cleburne. Catherine Lundberg, Lubbock. Xavier Madison, Lubbock. Molly Madsen, Amarillo. Tanya Molina, Whitesboro. Nestor Mancha, Dallas. Andrew Mata, San Angelo. Samuel McBride, Midland. Larry McCormick, Fort Worth. Blair McCowan, Ira. Alexander McElroy, Spring Branch. Jose Modena, Plainview. Nick Malott, San Angelo. Alexis Miller, Trent. Corey Miller, Lubbock. Alexandra Mendiola, Houston. Sergio Molinar, Hobbs, New Mexico. Travis Monk, Kingwood. Michael Myers, Fort Worth. Chan Nguyen, Allen. Andrea Ortiz, Friendswood. Nathan Ortiz, Dickinson. Victoria Osborne, Salina. Lavinia Owen, Sealy. Dakisa Oyima, Uberville, Gabon. Marcos Palacios, Lubbock. Kristen Paulson, Mansfield. Isaiah Perez, The Woodlands. Dylan Pettit, Headley. Andrew Philp, Friendswood. Dalton Pipkin, Prosper. Taylor Polk, Little River Academy. Sean Potter, Artesia, New Mexico. Holly Putman, San Antonio. Destry Quiros, Corpus Christi. Gustavo Ramirez, Katy. Jennifer Ramthun, Holland. Veronica Richter Paz, Santa Cruz, Bolivia. Aaron Rodriguez, San Benito. Carla Rodriguez, Houston. Kenneth Ruland, Sanger. Austin Rushing, Hewitt. Sarah Ryan, The Woodlands. Gabrielle Salazar, San Antonio. Kyla Sanders. Back up. Kayla Sanders. Lubbock. Tyler Sanzo, Richmond. Angelica Saavedra, Lubbock. Austin Schuff, Wolforth. Bradley Selby, Era. Leslie Smith, Lubbock. Richard Smith, Marion. Shane Smith, Katy. Kelton Spinks, Baytown. Parker Swanson, Heath. Megan Taylor, Canyon. Nicole Terrell, Pearland. Michelle Thapalia, Lubbock. Kendall Tracta, Decatur. Matthew Trela, Midland. Anthony Yucatil, Houston. Elizabeth Urano, El Paso. Stephanie Vasquez, Eagle Pass. Christine Vasquez, Katy. Christopher Vela, Bastrop. Norma Velasquez, Little Elm. Colin Walker, Frisco. Brandon Wallace, Austin. Renita Walzel, San Antonio. Alexander Weaver, Amarillo. Garrett Wesley, Kaufman. Jarrett Wingate, Mena, Arkansas. Rachel Woolley, Grapevine. Craig Worley, San Antonio. Zachary Yates, Lubbock. Alexander Jovanovic, Spring. Marissa Ruiz, Slayton. James Burns, McKinney. Mizuka Yasuoka, Houston. Did we miss anyone? Does everyone have a ring? Congratulations, guys.
Mr. Sneed, I've got a question. I didn't hear a brownfield, so President Opperman, I may need you to come with me and we'll go recruit some brownfield folks, so some Terry County folks. My name is Todd Chambers, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the official ring ceremony of Texas Tech University. The official class ring symbolizes an extremely significant achievement in your academic career at Texas Tech. And I just want to take another opportunity, we want to take an opportunity to congratulate you once again. Congratulations. I came to Tech in 1984 as a incoming freshman. I got a chance to have Dr. Bill Dean in my MassCom 1300 class. How many other people in the room have had that pleasure? Yeah, that's what I thought. And even some from the audience in the back. That's great. So we all do that. But it was fascinating to me the cool thing about tonight is to hear how many different hometowns people are from. And parents and family and friends who have traveled from places, and I'm just going to go by how loud the applause was. The first loud place was Big Spring. But I heard some loudness from Pearland and from Houston and from San Antonio and Ira and Friendswood and Eagle Pass. That's what's so cool about Texas Tech University in 2016 is we are a very diverse campus, and man, it is awesome to see the support of so many of your friends and family. So students, you need to give a round of applause to folks that have traveled far and wide just to get here for tonight to celebrate with you. So at this time, now students, what I want you to do is I want you to open your boxes, but listen, open your boxes and take out your rings. Do not put them on yet, but hold them in your hands, all right? What we're going to do tonight is we are going to take a tour. And we're going to look at the iconic symbols represented on your ring by leading you on an imaginary journey through campus in your time here at Texas Tech. Guests, parents, friends, family, you should have received a program tonight. And the great thing, even though you don't have a ring, even though some of you may have purchased it, like Dr. Opperman said, you're going to be able to take the tour with us. So if you'll just open this up, you'll be able to take this tour with us. So think back to me, so we're going to take a journey around the ring. So think back with me to the first time you ever heard about Texas Tech University. Perhaps it was from a parent or a relative who attended Texas Tech. Maybe it was on television while watching a sporting event. Or perhaps it was when you began looking at colleges and browsing through college catalogs. Probably for all of you, it was looking at a website. And you probably looked at dozens of universities, but one stood out. The one with the scarlet and the black. The one with the double T. Now, I grew up on a farm about 50 miles from here, just outside of Brownfield, Texas. For me, I remember listening to Texas Tech football and basketball games on the radio. I was sitting in my grandparents' living room, imagining what it would be like to be the next Andre Tillman. Neither of my parents went to college, but my mom's parents did. In fact, my granddad was a 1971 Texas Tech University graduate. I remember vividly a ceramic Raider Red that sat on top of their television. And in fact, if you go right out here in this hallway, before you leave tonight, if you want to, there's a display case. And in there are these ceramic figurines from old Southwest Conference mascots. And Raider Red is one of those. And you can go see what I was looking at when I was a child. I grew up in Texas Tech's shadow. I always knew I wanted to be a Red Raider. And after coming here in 1984, earning an undergraduate degree in journalism in 1988, I actually worked here as a staff member for about a year and a half, 2 years. I started working on a master's degree in mass communication, finished that up in 1994. I moved away to another university in across the nation for my PhD, and then I had the privilege and honor to come back here and start teaching as a professor in 1999. So basically, I've pretty much spent almost my entire adult life here at Texas Tech, and it is very special tonight to be able to share this journey with you. In fact, I brought one of my most prized possessions. It's my grandfather's Texas Tech ring from 1971. And what's so cool about it, this journey we're about to take, I can follow along right with you from something that came with him in 1971. So now if you'll all look with me at the top of your ring. Whether you have a traditional ring or a signet ring, the iconic double T sits prominently on top. There is no other symbol more associated with Texas Tech than the double T. Although no one has ever claimed credit for the design, historic documents date the first appearance to 1926, when it showed up on some sweaters made for the football team. The double T represents the foundation of our university as Texas Technological College, as well as the university that we have grown to become. Inscribed around the raised double T is our official name, Texas Tech University, with 2 separate stars and the date of foundation, 1923. It was then when the Texas legislature decided that rather than a branch campus of Texas A&M University, an entirely new university would better serve the needs, most definitely, of the West Texas region. On February 10th, 1923, Texas Governor Pat Neff signed the legislation creating Texas Technological College. And in July of that year, a committee began searching for a location for the school. When the committee members visited Lubbock, they were overwhelmed to find residents lining the streets to show support for the idea of hosting the institution. Just a month later in August, Lubbock was chosen on the first ballot over the other area towns, including Floydada, Plainview, and Sweetwater. I heard about 3 or 4 Plainview students tonight. See, aren't you glad that it's in Lubbock now, right? As you turn your rings to the left, our journey of the campus begins. So picture yourself now standing at the Broadway entrance to campus. Directly in front of you is the university seal. It's that big, large granite seal that was designed in 1924 by campus master planner William Ward Watkin, the same seal that you find engraved on your ring. This seal first appeared on the Texas Tech diplomas in 1948, but was not officially approved as the seal of Texas Tech University until 1953. So let's examine that up close. President Horn, have you heard of Horn Knapp? All right, okay. He was truly a visionary when it came to our foundation in early years, selected 5 symbols inside the seal which he believed were the 5 great institutions of a democracy. In the upper left quadrant of the shield is a book representing church. There in the lower left quadrant is a key symbolizing home. In the upper right quadrant is the star, the symbol for state. And in the lower right quadrant is the lamp of learning representing school. These elements are separated by 10 cotton bolls representing industry, as well as Lubbock and its surrounding 9 cotton-producing counties. Sitting atop is the American eagle, our national bird, and the shield is surrounded by the inscription, Texas Tech University, Lubbock. So let's walk a little bit further. Let's walk past the seal. We're walking down Amon G. Carter Plaza, past the fountains, past where the Christmas tree sits during the Carol of Lights, past the statue of Will Rogers and soap suds, wrapped in red on game days, and into the center of campus to Memorial Circle. In fact, today at lunch, I went there and just sat. Have you ever done that? Just listen. I love the sound of that water. And if you turn your ring to the right, and just imagine looking north. And just picture that in your mind. What do you see on the north? If you look down the engineering key, past Holden Hall, past the engineering, in the distance you see Jones AT&T Stadium. Think back to the excitement that you felt when you attended your first Texas Tech University football game. You remember that? How awesome that was to walk in with that sea of red and black, to see the band going through there, just getting all fired up. You remember the first time you saw the masked rider lead the team out onto the field? It doesn't matter how many times you see it, it is still one of the most dramatic entrances for college football. Every season, my wife kills me because I'm sure it sucks up data or something, because I always send her a video of the masked rider running out and all the smoke and stuff. Now on the right side of your ring, you're going to see this beloved mascot. That symbol is no stranger to you and me. But perhaps you aren't aware of its history. In 1936, the same year Arch Lamb founded the Saddle Tramps as a male spirit organization, a ghost rider appeared at the beginning of a home football game with the Arizona State Lumberjacks. Resplendent in a scarlet and black cape and mask, the riders circled the field at the start of the game on a palomino and then galloped off to the amazement of the crowd. And it wasn't until 1954 in Tech's appearance at the Gator Bowl that Joe Kirk Fulton, with red cape and mask, rode a borrowed black horse into the Gator Bowl stadium to the utter astonishment of the crowd. The football team was evidently inspired by this masked rider as Tech went on to pummel Auburn University 35-13. And so the tradition was fixed. To this day, Texas Tech retains the scarlet and black caped masked rider on a black horse. And we just anointed a new masked rider for this upcoming season just in the last few days. So imagine now, keep your tour going here. Now turn around and face to the south, right? You're going to be facing the administration building. This is one of the very first structures built on campus more than 9 decades ago. The building was architecturally designed in the Spanish Renaissance style with ornate carvings, archways, and its Spanish tiled roof. One of the main features of this building is its twin bell towers. The one on the west houses the carillon bells that you hear ringing out musical melodies, and the one on the east houses the 2 victory bells. If you look behind the masked rider on your ring, you will see the engraving of the East Bell Tower. The victory bells, which together weigh 1,200 pounds, were first rung in 1936 after a win over TCU. The Saddle Tramps and the High Riders, part of our campus spirit organizations, continue to ring the victory bells after athletic wins and other momentous occasions, such as tonight's ring ceremony. Dr. Dean introduced someone earlier, and we have on this stage Jay Crane, who is president of Saddle Tramps. And Jay is going to now head over to that East Bell Tower, and he's going to ring victory bells for each one of you tonight receiving your ring today. Thank you, Jay. Reckham. President Opperman was talking about what's engraved inside your ring. And you're going to find those 3 words, strive for honor, in there. This inscription is from the Matador song, and it serves as a charge for every one of us that's a Texas Tech graduate to excel with integrity in all that we do, in all of our endeavors. Below that, you will find your personalized inscription that is unique only to your ring. This inscription is your identifier. If your ring is ever lost, the honest finder can return it to you by contacting the Alumni Association or the Balfour Company. So to the bottom of the ring. It's very easy here. Double T's tied with a decorative band. So now that we've taken you on a geographical and historical tour of your ring, hopefully it's even more meaningful for you now that you know all about each one of those symbols. It really does encapsulate Texas Tech, and it will forever serve to remind you of what being a Red Raider means. It also, of course, is a sign to others of your academic accomplishment and the pride that you have in your alma mater. So as you travel around Lubbock, across the state, the country, or like we heard tonight, even the world, your ring will serve as a symbol of honor. Use your ring to bear your banner proudly. So now you may put on your ring. Remember, the double T will face you until graduation day, when President Opperman will ask you to turn your rings so the double T faces outward. Congratulations once more. Reckham.
Ring tone. Let's stand and sing the Matador song. That concludes our program. Thank you for being here, and go Tech.